How loyal is a dog? Looking at the dog in her arms, the old grandmother couldn't help but burst into tears. She couldn't accept that her dog, who had been with her for 14 years, was about to leave her. The dog's name is Dodo. Over these 14 years, Dodo would accompany her grandmother every day as she sold fish on the street. Worried that customers would be afraid of her, Dodo would always obediently stay on the other side of the road, watching her grandmother. Even when cars and people passed by on the street, she never left her side. If she saw a suspicious customer, she would immediately rush over and drive them away. Even when provoked multiple times, she never backed down. Perhaps in her eyes, her grandmother was everything to her. She brought not only simple companionship but also unwavering protection. Once she made sure her grandmother was safe, Dodo would slowly make her way back to the other side of the street, continuing to silently wait for her owner. The auntie who sold vegetables next door said that for over 10 years, the dog had stayed there motionless, and people passing by would say she was silly, but the dog understood what she was doing. She just wanted to silently accompany her owner, from day to night, and until the lights of the world were bright. Only then would the grandmother pack up and prepare to go home. At this moment, Dodo would happily bounce over to her grandmother's side, and, after receiving praise, the two of them would happily make their way home together. The grandmother was never stingy when it came to the dog's food. She said she had no family, and Dodo was her daughter, so whatever she ate, Dodo should eat as well. Although their days were not wealthy, in this small house, the two of them still led a happy and contented life. Every night, when they went to sleep, the grandmother would carefully arrange the dog's bedding, and Dodo would sleep soundly in this warm nest. As autumn turned to winter, Dodo continued to accompany her grandmother at the stall across the street, but as she watched the dog grow older, the grandmother's eyes filled with a hint of reluctance. Eventually, she couldn't bear it anymore and took Duo to the hospital for a checkup. Unfortunately, the dog was already old, and her left eye was completely blind, while her right eye had developed cataracts. The vet said that Dodo was 14 years old, and the risks of anesthesia treatment were high. The grandmother, upon hearing this, held the dog and couldn't help but weep. She was afraid that Dodo wouldn't wake up again on the operating table, and she was also afraid of losing her beloved dog. The grandmother said, "I can't be without it, but life must go on." What remains unchanged is their dedication to each other, but what changes is the gradually fading figure of the grandmother in Duo's eyes. However, their love for each other will never waver. Since they couldn't change reality, they cherished the present and lived each moment to the fullest. Time flew by, and the dog and the grandmother welcomed their 15th winter together. Seeing Dodo wearing the little coat she had sewn with her own hands, the grandmother smiled happily. Dodo was her little coat, and she hoped that they would always warm each other, living a life of eternal happiness and